Hello, welcome back to another video. My name is Gemma and today we're going to do my December TBR. So November didn't go quite to plan, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But yes, I am going to put together a TBR for December and I feel like I've been pretty good and I've got very little committed reads. So we will do the jar, but firstly, how did I do in November? So it was non-fiction November in November and I read three non-fiction books. Well, I've read two and I've got one on the go, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish that tomorrow because I've got a big drive and I'm listening to it on audio. So I read the new Britney Spears memoir, which I've done a solo review for. It was my very first episode of Hot or Not. If you missed that, I'll leave it linked below. I also read Guantanamo Voices and I'm currently reading When Breath Becomes Air. So that's three non-fictions in November, which I actually think is pretty good. So I'm quite happy with that attempt. However, when we move to my TBR jar picks from last month, what do we have? I've got the things here. A lot of them are going to have to go back in the jar. So we had Mossflower, which is a middle grade book by Brian Jacques. Have I read that? No. So we'll just pop it back in. It's totally fine. Then we had a Rushdie pick. So if you missed the chaos of that video, Brady ended up picking, with the help of Charlie, the Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie. Does it look like I've picked that up? No, that would be because I haven't, and I'm not going to. So that was a fail. So Rushdie pick needs to go back in here. So we'll have some more Rushdie chaos another day. Then we had a pick from Jolene, a Bookworm Adventure Girl, and I picked from her Best Books of the Year So Far video, My Sister's Keeper by Jodie Picoult. Have I read this? No, I have not. So Jolene is going to have to go back in for another day. And the last one was a dystopian book, and I picked Station 11 by Hilary St John Mandel. Brain went a bit blank there. And technically I've started it. Look, it's got a bookmark in. I am on page 46. But there is still a bit of chunk of time left before the end of the month. I'm filming this on like the 22nd, so I've still got time, right? So I'm hoping to at least be a good chunk of the way through this by the end of the month. So 1 out of 4, which isn't great, but I just feel like I prioritised non-fiction and I'm okay with that. So the one that I did do, we'll chuck away. That one's done. We've completed one. And we're going to see what the old TBR jar has in store for December. This is really annoying, isn't it? Really annoying. So let's just pick one of each colour. Hopefully we won't pick any that I've already just put back. So purple. Oh, this is ideal. So a book from, I don't know if you can even read that, a book from Scribd. That's perfect because I have lots of books on Scribd that I want to read. And so for this, I'm going to pick, what's it called? The one that's just been nominated for the Hugo, the 15 Winters of something or other. I'll put it here. But yes, I'm really keen to get to that one, and it's been, as I say, nominated for the Hugo Fiction Award. So that is perfect because I'm looking forward to reading the fiction, the Hugo Award, not the Hugo Award, the Nero Award, the Nero. Good God. So if you're unfamiliar, the Nero Awards is a new award this year. Myself, Alice from Alice and the Giant Bookshelf, and Charlie from Charlie Book Reads did a live on it on Tuesday, so I'll leave the link to the live below if you want to hear about all of the books that were nominated in all of the categories, and a little bit more about this one that I'm going to read, which is a reimagining of Emily Bronte's life. How good does that sound? So what else have we got? What's this? The Kite Runner, which is perfect because this is one of the books that I really want to get to by the end of the year. It's on my scratch list. I've been saying for a very long time that I'm going to read this book. So apparently December is the month for The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseni, which is the story of a young boy in war-torn Afghanistan, I believe. I don't know too much more about it. Tearjerker, there's a film. Sounds awesome. So we've got a purple and a yellow. And then we've got a book recommended by Jacques at Spread Book Joy. I don't know if she did a best books of the year so far. I shall have a look, but if not, I'll just directly ask her to tell me like what are her favourite books of the year, and I'll pick one of those. Okay, so it's been a couple of days, but I did text Jacques and ask her what the best books of the year were for her that I haven't read. And she came back with 3 amazing options, but I'm going to go for Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. I've been meaning to get to that book for so long, and it has already been on one of these TBRs, I believe, like a couple of months ago. And so, yeah, I think December is the time for me to get back into some epic fantasy. It's the last of the Daevabad trilogy, which is a sort of Middle Eastern inspired fantasy, which I've read the first 2 of, and I adored it. So I really want to know how the series ends up. So that one is also adding to the TBR. And so we need a green. I'll pick this one. And it says, Feminist. A piece of feminist literature. What could I pick for that? So for this one, I'm going to pick another Nero book, and I'm going to pick Strong Female Character by Fern Brady, which has been highly recommended to me by the lovely Alice on the Giant Bookshelf. And this is Fern Brady's memoir, looking at what her experience has been being diagnosed with autism in her 30s. And yeah, like I said, I'm hearing very good things. It's been nominated in the non-fiction category for the Nero Awards, so we're going to add that one to the TBR too. So, in true Gemma fashion, that is not all of the books for for December, but I do only have one buddy read. I say that, but it's quite large. And I'm going to be reading Shogun by James Clavell with the lovely Jacques from Spread Book Joy. This book is massive, and the lovely Jacques gifted this to me for my birthday or Christmas last year, one of the two. They are in the same month, so you know I get a bit confused. And I'm super excited for this. So this is like an epic set in Japan, samurais, like just epic samurai Japanese fighting war stuff, and I'm super excited for it. So excited for this book. I think this has potential to be like an all-time favourite, and I believe it's a reread for Jacques. So in fact I know it's a reread for Jacques. So yeah, but this is like 1,123 pages. So yes, it's only one buddy read, but it could easily be 5 in terms of page number. So yeah, that one's on the list. And I did say one buddy read, but what I meant was like 1/4 buddy reads, because Jack and me and Alice are reading the Abercrombie books. We've kind of just decided that we're just going to keep going with them until we finish. And so we are on sort of the 4th in the series. There's like 9 books in the world, and 2 of them are trilogy. There's 2 trilogies and then 3 standalones, but really there's an order that you read them in, and we're on the 4th one. And we're just going to continue to read them. If you're unfamiliar with the First Law world, it's a grimdark fantasy series. We read the original trilogy first, and now we're on the first standalone, which is Best Served Cold. And they're just really, really great grimdark fantasy books. I highly recommend, if you haven't tried Joe Abercrombie, you really should, because he is awesome. And we're listening to the audiobooks, which are narrated by Stephen Pacey, who is hands down the best narrator I've ever come across. And yeah, we're just having a lovely time. So we'll continue with Best Served Cold into December. If we finish it in December, then we'll start the next one. I don't know what it's called, but we will start it. So that's sort of like an ongoing buddy read. Yeah. And then Alice and I are going to reattempt to read The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. We did try and buddy read this in the summer, but neither of us were really in the mood for it. So we decided to put it down and come back to it when we were less crotchety. And that time is now. So I think we're actually going to start this before the end of November, but it will probably roll into December. Maybe it won't, but it probably will. And then we also, if we've got time, are going to attempt Reaper Man by Terry Pratchett. We also read Mork together earlier this year and said we'd read the next one at some point. It feels like a December book, so we're going to try for it. We'll see if it happens. So that's it for buddy reads. So it's like, this is the main one, and then like the Abercrombie's just going on in the background, and then the two of Alice are sort of flexible depending on if we have time. Yeah. Book clubs. So I run a book club with the aforementioned Alice and Jack. It's like I sponsor them, the amount of times I mention them. If I had to pay £1 for every time I mentioned Alice or Jack's name, someone would be rich. We run a book club, was the point to that tangent, called the FOMO Book Club, where we read books that we feel we have missed out on, and we invite other people to read them if they also feel like they have missed out on them. And the FOMO Book Club pick for November and December is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. I haven't started it in November, so I will read it in December. And then we will do a live on Alice's channel at the end of December. Then, as I mentioned earlier, my new series Hot or Not has started. I started with the Britney memoir, and then I asked people to vote on which book they would like me to... And then I asked people to vote on which book they'd like to see reviewed in December, and the winner was Julia by Sandra Newman, which is a feminist retelling of 1984. And just as I say that, I'm like, Gemma, you literally just picked feminist out of the jar, and you could have used this for that. So yeah, never mind. But I would also like to reread 1984, probably before I read Julia, because I read 1984 a long time ago, probably about 10 years ago, maybe more than 10 years ago. So yeah, it's been a while basically, and I can't really remember anything past the main premise. So yeah, so I might read both, but I'll definitely be reading Julia and reviewing that on the channel. And actually that's it, and I don't think that's too bad of a TBR. Really, we've just got this, the Kite Runner. Oh, I need to add my Jack pick. What else did we pick? Oh, and a couple of Nero books. So I think that's pretty good. Pretty good. So I'd love to know what everyone else is reading in December. Are you also having a more relaxed December? I keep saying it's relaxed, and then like I keep looking at this and I'm like, that's not relaxed, Gemma. That is not relaxed. So yeah, what are you reading in December? I'd love to know. And I will leave my Britney Spears memoir review here for you if you want to check that out. And I will catch you all very soon with another one. Bye guys.